Good morning, St. Peter's. Welcome to devotional this morning. I left you off yesterday with reading Revelation chapter 8, verse 7 through to 9:21. It's a big section, but this morning we're looking at the pattern. The pattern. Now I just want us to look and see the pattern here in Revelation. We have the first trumpet, and with hail and fire mixed with blood being hurled to the earth. A third of the earth is burned up, a third of the trees. Look at the second trumpet. Second angel blew a trumpet, and something like a great mountain ablaze with fire hurled into the sea. Then there's a third trumpet and a fourth trumpet. And then there's a fifth trumpet. And then we have these locusts that come out of smoke, smoke from the shaft. The air is darkened, and so on. And then we have the sixth trumpet. The sixth blew his trumpet from the four horns of the golden altar that is before God. Say to the sixth angel who had the trumpet, release the four angels bound at the great river Euphrates, and they kill a third of the human race. Now, I want us to see a pattern here. We might have questions about these weird people like the locusts and the angels and so on, but notice they all come from the throne of God. It sounds awful, but this is all pictures of judgment again. But I want us to see, the important thing is to see this pattern, the pattern of what's happening in here. You see, we have the six trumpets, and then we have a pause. And look at chapter 10. Chapter 10, we have this thing about the mighty angel and small scroll. We'll go into that another day. Chapter 11, two witnesses martyred. And then we have in chapter 11, verse 15 through to 19, the seventh trumpet. So, we have from chapter 8, verse 5, through to the end of chapter 11, verse 19, the seven trumpets. And the pattern is we have six trumpets, and then we have a pause, and then we have the seventh trumpet. And the pattern is the same as the seven seals, and there's three R's connected to the pattern. The three R's are reality, restraint, and response. The point is, trumpets 1 through to 4 are talking again about the reality of judgment that we all live under. This is what we saw in the first four seals, the reality of judgment we all live under. But then you notice in the fifth and sixth trumpets, there's a restraint. Did you notice these terrible locusts come out of the earth and they have power like scorpions? But they're told, listen to verse 4, not to harm the grass of the earth or green plant. They're not permitted to kill people who have God's seal on them. There's a restraint to judgment. That is, God's people will not be killed ultimately by the ultimate reality of judgment. The reality of judgment that we all live under is death. God's people will not be killed by that ultimate reality. And so there's restraint. And then notice in the sixth trumpet, again, these terrible beasts come out, release the four angels, and they're prepared to kill a third of the human race. And they have the power of horses. A third of the human race is killed by plagues, and so on. But here we have response in the sixth trumpet. Listen to this, verse 20. The rest of the people who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands. They did not stop worshipping idols made of gold, silver, bronze, stone, wood, which cannot see or hear or talk. And they did not repent of their murders, sexual immoralities, or thefts. The point is, there's a pattern here of reality, the reality of the judgment we live under, restraint. God doesn't bring his full judgment on his people. That is, we don't experience the full judgment of death itself. We will all die. But God's people are sealed and protected from that ultimate final death. And then we have response. And there's a response to those. The response is those who experience God's judgment and who haven't turned to Christ. They do not repent and they just keep on going and doing their own things and walking their own way. So reality, restraint, and response. And this is the pattern that we saw in the seals. It's the pattern we see on the trumpets. And it's the pattern we'll see in the bowls. Or perhaps we will. But more on that later. But you might notice all throughout this judgment, there's a third, and a third. A third. It says it all throughout the five trumpets. Remember yesterday I said it's like a diamond and you see different aspects. So here we're being shown what God does in the world. But now it's a third that are killed. That is, the 7 seals are being brought forward. We had a quarter of people being killed in the 7 seals, and now it's a third. It's a larger number. God's judgment is being brought forward, and it's showing an intensification of God's judgment. And yet the people don't repent and turn from worshipping other gods and worshipping things made out of stone, wood, silver, bronze, and so on. This is the message for today. It's the pattern of Revelation, and I'll put that pattern up perhaps on a slide or something so you can see that. But tomorrow we get into chapters 10 and 11. We're going to look at the pause area. See you then.